Wagwan Generals, welcome back to the SHIFTGEAR podcast. Not the Wonder Tag podcast, but we hope to be that someday. I just want to give a quick shout out to our boys, Jackson and Rowan. They started their podcast this week called the Wonder Tag. So, we got to support the boys. Do check that out after you're done checking this one out. Or just click off from us and go to them because they're probably better, whichever one you prefer. Just wanted to start the video off by shouting out the boys. I actually haven't had a chance to listen to it. Kieran, did you listen to it? Was it any good?
I've listened to the first 20 minutes, then I had to go teach some lessons, so I'll finish it later. But it seemed pretty good. I mean, it's two great players, and it's always good to have more podcasts in the space. Yes, I'm excited that we have another Canadian podcast as well.
Two quality individuals, and when you see us putting GoFundMe's on Twitter because we can't afford to live anymore, you know where all our business went, to the Wonder Tag podcast. But I'm sure it's great. I haven't watched it. I don't know, but I'm sure it's blessed. The SHIFTGEAR seal of bless approval has been given. So this week we have a big regional on the weekend. I'm actually not sure. Is there another regional besides Milwaukee this weekend?
There's one in Brazil. I forget where. I think it's Belo Horizonte. I think was where it is. Let's see. I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah.
Belo Horizonte.
Damn, that's impressive memory. Belo Horizonte. That sounds like a sick place. It kind of sounds like fictional.
I think it's near Rio, if I remember correctly, but I'm not 100% sure where it is. I'm gonna look real quick. Let's see where this is on the map. It is actually it's near. Well, it's like north of Rio, but it's not that close.
Okay. Everything in Brazil's far, man.
Yeah, it's a massive country. I think it's like basically the size of Canada. It's a little bit smaller.
Yeah, it's like a tiny bit smaller.
Yeah, no, it is a massive.
That's sick though. So yeah, we got two regionals on the weekend. I will be honest, I have been consumed by the Major League Baseball, and I haven't been playing much Pokemon. But hey, man, our boys are going crazy right now.
Yes.
By the time this episode comes out, y'all will know what happened in Game 3. But as of right now, it's Monday. We might be going for a sweep.
Yes. Well, it's actually Tuesday, Neil. But yes, we are going for a sweep.
Yeah, I'm tweaking.
Yeah, I mean that was
for the sweep tonight.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, I don't know about you. I think yeah, for sure. Like, just I'm used to Toronto teams just like losing the first game of the playoffs or like having shaky starts, but to dominate the first two games, especially when we were the series underdog, was that was nice. Just they broke the game open the first 4 or 5 innings both games, and it's just relaxing, not worrying about the outcome was great. So
the year the Raptors won the championship, we lost the very first game, didn't we?
Exactly,
to the Magic.
Yes.
Yeah.
After that, it was
just sort of good things.
Yeah. But yeah, the Leafs are always losing random games. Even the Raptors, when they were good, before the championship year, would always lose the first game.
Yeah.
The Blue Jays, the year they went to the ALCS the first time, they lost the first 2 games. So
I forgot about that. Yeah,
not very Toronto of them to win the first 2 games. So we'll hopefully close it out.
Dominating fashion too. Yeah. It's not just winning the first 2 games. And sometimes that's actually a scary thing in sports, right? You kind of want to keep that pressure on, that edge on. And I looked at the odds tonight. I've been into sports betting for a while, so I've been checking the odds all the time. But I was checking the odds tonight. We're actually unfavored to the Yankees to complete the sweep tonight because we're in the Bronx. I guess we used. So this is the big issue with baseball is utilization's a big thing.
Yeah.
And in that game 2, we used 7 relief pitchers, including a couple higher leverage arms that we would have loved to save, but I guess Trey came out in the 5th inning, and then it was just Justin Broyle started blowing the lead, and it got kind of sticky. So anyways, we're unfavored now because we used so many pitchers in yesterday's game.
I think, what's it called? I think it's mainly just their starter today is better than our starter. It's the main thing, right?
Yeah. Rodon's he's pitched just pretty good. And I actually think Shane Bieber is going to be pretty good, but he's coming off Tommy John, so you never know. Either way, we're in dreamland right now in Toronto, which is awesome. And there's nowhere like Toronto when the Blue Jays are good. I think everyone from Toronto will agree with that. It is it's crazy. People who don't care about baseball are talking about baseball. It's awesome. So we are excited. We're having a good time. Hopefully the sweep is done. Hopefully we don't have a game Wednesday night, but we shall see.
Yes, for sure.
So I've distracted for long enough, but for 30 more seconds, I need to distract further.
All right.
Because, Kara, I did something crazy last night, okay?
All right.
Have you heard of the SpongeBob 25th anniversary Topps Chrome set?
I feel like I might have, but I'm not super familiar. Let me look this up here.
Yeah, can you pull it up on the screen real quick?
SpongeBob Chrome set?
Yeah, Topps Chrome. The company Topps.
Okay,
yeah. So this stuff.
Okay.
So these cards. You guys might not know this. I'm a huge SpongeBob head. Actually, you can probably tell from my personality. I'm a big SpongeBob head. It's pretty revealing. I loved SpongeBob. I can like recite every episode from like seasons 1 to 5. So I decided on my way home, I'll pick up a couple boxes of this. I didn't pick up these. I picked up the smaller boxes. Don't worry, I didn't spend like $1,000 on SpongeBob cards, but I spent $200 on SpongeBob cards. Okay. I come home watching Monday Night Football as I do, and I'm just passively opening my packs, and I see something kind of peculiar in the background of one of my packs. I'm like, what is it? This background looks kind of weird. And I go and I turn it.
Yo, Gary.
It is an autographed Gary by the guy who voiced Gary. there's 25 of these in existence. And I am now the owner of one.
Yo, if I go on TCG Player, do they have these?
It probably won't be on there, but you can go on eBay.
eBay? Okay.
I want you to guess how much this card is worth, actually.
I'm going to guess $3,000.
Yeah, yeah, basically. There was a black refractor that was at a 10 that sold for $2,000. It's kind of hard to find on here. There's not, because there's only 25 in existence.
This one, but is this
that is the one out of 50, I believe.
Oh, so yours is different.
So mine's more rare than that one.
Damn.
Anyways, dude, I was like, what the hell? And like, as a SpongeBob guy, this is so cool to me. So I am now the owner of one of 25 Gary Tom Kenny signed SpongeBob cards. I will be sending this to PSA and I will grade it, and then I will never sell it. And I'll say, hey, I made $5,000 off this box, but I didn't because I'm never going to sell it. So SpongeBob cards.
Bro, it's so funny. Like, just where collecting is as a hobby. I know we were talking about it on the weekend too. Just like the Gary the like snail is like a $5,000 thing at this point. Like everything, it is kind of sad at the same time that like collecting anything just got so commoditized that like that, like it's just worth $5,000. But that is hype. I'm happy for you, Neil.
Thanks, bro.
Maybe I need to start.
These make sense to me because it was just like a one-of set. Like there's never going to be another like SpongeBob set, I don't think, from Top Scrum. So like this makes sense that it's worth something because like there's people going for it and stuff. But yeah, modern Pokemon, the way that it's ballooned is stupid.
Nice.
So there's a triple auto from the SpongeBob set with SpongeBob, Squidward, and Gary. Dude, search it.
It's like how they have like the Larry Bird magic.
Yeah, it's like that. Just search it on like Google. It'll come up. It'll be a news article. I guarantee you.
Wait, let me see if I can find an eBay first. If not, I'll go to this one.
It might be that one. Yeah.
But this is like the gold, not the black.
Bro, just look at the solds.
Solds.
I think the first guy sold it on eBay. Look at the sold. See if it comes up. Go down. You gotta go all the way down. Sorry. Down. There you go. Completed and sold.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, it might be so deep down there that you can't even find it. Anyways, maybe that one? No. All right. So the first version of this card that sold for $22,000 US.
Bro, like, who is buying this is my thing. Like, how is the market that big for this stuff?
It's these like Whatnot guys and the Post Malones of the world.
Like, is this not like pump and dumping of like cards?
Yeah, there you go. Barnacles, the Yahoo Sports one. This one.
It's over $21,500 US. Wow.
21.5 for this card. Insane.
Bro.
And then
sorry,
if you see, I was just laughing at the news headline when you scroll down. Chris Jones quits on Trevor Lawrence tackle or whatever. He used to quit on Trevor Lawrence's game-winning TD. We got to finish. Anyway, sorry, I'm just rapping. That was just a funny headline.
I was gonna say this. You know what this kind of reminds me of? Like, do you remember when NFTs were a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that never made any sense to me. But there's this thing called NBA Top Shot. If you know what that was.
Yep.
Yeah, so like for anyone who doesn't know, like they were like digital basketball cards. And like you could like just open these like digital basketball cards and like they'd be like plays. You would pull plays, and like I was listening to a sports podcast and like they were talking about NBA Top Shot, and I didn't even know what an NFT was. I didn't even know that these were NFTs. And I went on the website and they had a pack, and you could pay like $10, and I bought a pack, and I got this like Julius Randle card, and like I didn't really understand why it was good, but it was worth like $1,000, and I was like, what the heck? So like I sold it, and then like. They had eventually like it blew up, and like you would have to like be a lottery to buy packs, and like I got in the lottery and I won the lottery, and like since I won the lottery I got to buy like a $200 pack, and I pulled this guy who was like Theo like Maldonado or something, like basically it's like this complete scrub, but it was like a rookie card in the pack, and like I sold it immediately for like $500. Like that was my first exposure to like things are like I'm like what is going on anymore, but this is what that anyways that just reminds me of that. Like looking at some of stuff like this, like SpongeBob selling for
Yeah, it's so
a bunch of
stupid how
money.
much like everything's kind of like blown up. It's wild, bro. I got another distracting story to tell, but I'll tell it later in the episode. We can get to some
Oh, we
Pokemon
get to some
stuff.
Pokemon. Nice.
It's related to lottery, so
Nice.
I will share later.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Anyways, all right. So we were saying we have some regionals coming up before we got distracted. We got to do some prep for this weekend. I haven't played enough Pokemon, but I played enough to know kind of what's good and what's bad
mhm.
here. It does look very heavily like a similar format to what we had before, but there are definitely a couple new faces that have gained a little bit of power with lilies or the rocks or whatever. So we can start wherever you want, Gary, and we can maybe go down the list or we can tier list these or
yeah,
whatever. Whatever.
I've got our Trainer Hill tier list ready here to
Bless.
go. But yeah, we can talk maybe quickly about how this is maybe changing the game. I think, like you said, I think everyone's kind of come to the conclusion that it's not changing the format a whole lot. The only deck that I think is like new, that's not even like really like a new card from the set, but it's like a new deck in the meta is Cerulege.
Yeah.
It's kind of a deck that like wasn't really played before, it like wasn't very good, but now I think the Solrock like actually adds a lot to the deck. It gives it a draw engine, but the more important thing I think is it gives it a one prize attacker. So I think Cerulege is definitely probably like the one new aggro deck you have to look out for. I mean, we've been seeing online, and I think this will continue in person. Like Raging Bolt is just like cratering in play lately, so I think Cerulege might come in. And then Golden Go now, like there's like the millionth Golden Go version now because now there's Solrock Golden Go into the mix, which we'll talk about in the episode if we maybe think this is the way to go or not. Yeah, the other thing is like Grimmsnarl's been creeping back up in play. It has a very high online win rate, so I think that's definitely another deck to keep in mind is that Grimmsnarl might come back. I don't really know if I'm not a huge believer, I think, in like the deck being tier 1 again, but I think it's definitely back to tier 2 status. Then we have other random stuff. Alakazam's been popping up, all that good stuff. So why don't we start with the Solrock decks? Like, why don't we start with Cerulege because it's actually pretty new. It has like a 7% win rate online, or 7% play rate online. I would hope not a 7% win rate.
Yeah, that's great.
So there's been a couple ways people are playing this. They're playing it with either the Legacy Energy or they're playing it with the Brilliant Blender. I don't know how much you've played with it, Aneil. I've actually played a lot of games of Cerulege. And like I've been playing the Legacy. I'm just opening some random lists I found online just so I have a backdrop so people can look at it while we're talking. But yeah, I found the Legacy to be better than the Blender. If you really want an effect similar to the Blender, you can just play Drillbur with Dig 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 to put 3 in the discard. But I've even found that card like not even that necessary to be honest. If you play like the Carmine build and you play Squawk, like I found like I get like all the energy in the discard like super quickly. So the deck is super linear and super simple to play. So like if you're actually just like looking for like that type of deck, I actually think Cerulege is perfect. Like I think if you're a newer player, like I think Cerulege is actually where I'd recommend someone start. So I think the deck is, I don't think it's gonna be like winning regionals or anything, but I think it's definitely a deck that'll like have a high play rate and actually have a lot of people make day 2. It's pretty easy to pilot.
Yeah, even before the rocks, like Cerulege would pop up here and there. It was never like terrible. You can kind of see why it's good just from all the discard power you have, and like the Legacy is really tricky for a lot of decks to play around. So I think that's pretty neat. And now you have that one prize attacker. So that was what this deck was missing. That like one prize attacker that can kind of skew some games, whatever. You use Briar really well, which is also awesome. You have Palpad to kind of draw into it. Yeah, though this deck is unfortunate. Well, not unfortunate. I think it's a good deck to have in format, but it's definitely legit. I think it's. I think I agree with your synopsis. Like, it's probably not going to win the regionals, but it's a good candidate to maybe go far in the tournament. I think Rocks just unlocks so many decks. This is just like one of the greatest beneficiaries of it.
Yeah, for sure. Like yeah, the reason I say I have trouble seeing it winning is just like there's. I mean, we always say this. Like, there's not a lot of like agency with it. Like, there's not a lot of like cool plays or like skill ceiling. Like the skill ceiling is actually very low, and it's probably actually one of the lowest skill ceilings in the format. But the floor for like playing this deck is pretty low. So I think for sure we'll see a lot of them in day 2. I think a lot of people will play it, and it has some good matchups. Like I think it's actually pretty good into like Jelly Guardy, for example. It's pretty decent to Dengo. Its Poltnor matchup, despite what the data says, I actually think is bad. Like I've actually some of my Cerulege builds I've started playing like Psyduck to make that matchup better. And that's another card we can maybe talk about how much Psyduck we think is going to be played. But
yeah, I was gonna say we need to get a SHIFTGEAR like shirt made that just has the quote. There's not a lot of agency, but I feel like we say that like 4 times a video.
Yeah. No, you are
Dude,
right.
we should get that. That'd be sick.
When we get more SHIFTGEAR merch, like the bucket hats,
Yeah, we
gotta,
gotta.
and then we'll get that going.
Loki, we've been lacking on the SHIFTGEAR merch lately.
We gotta get like the SHIFTGEAR Clang Clang like art or something. And then,
Yeah, because like the problem is like for us, we want to make it something drippy, right? We don't want to like sell Gildan t-shirts because it's not for money. It's for just for drip,
yeah.
you know. So it's I don't know. So I gotta look deeper. I gotta find like a supplier that can give us like something drippy. Like they have like a cool brand deal or something. We can make something like maybe that's a little bit more expensive, but something you could actually wear out.
Yeah.
Not some jank like that just says Shift Gear podcast on the front. There's some nonsense. We're not doing Fruit of the Loom. Fruit of the Loom is banned.
Agreed. We need at least like the dry fit or something. Like I think I mentioned this a couple weeks ago on the podcast. Like Pokemon upgraded the Play Pokemon shirts night and day.
Yeah.
Like the new ones they have compared to the old ones.
We need the Uniqlo Airism partnership.
Sure. I actually no, I do know what shirt you're talking about. I've never worn it, but I do know what shirt you're talking about.
You've never worn one? Dude, it'll change your life.
Uniqlo is like tough for me because they don't sell, like they just go like small, medium, large, and like I'm like taller than like a large. Like so whenever I wear like their pants, they're too short normally, or like their shirts are a lot of times not my size. But
Asian sizing.
yes, I guess so. Like the Japan sizing. When I went to Japan, like for Worlds, I'm like, bro, like I was like an extra large. I think in a lot of things, like
Bro's a unit.
Yeah, because their sizing is just a lot different. Cool. Okay, let's talk about Golden Go next as we're on the Solrock train. I'm just gonna pull up a random list if I can find one that's playing Solrock. All right, this one's playing Solrock. Perfect. We can talk about it. Okay, there's a couple things to talk about Solrock. The first one, is it better than playing the other versions of Golden Go, like the eSearch Pro? And the other one is like, what A spec should you be playing if you're playing Solrock's Golden Go? So, Noel, how much playing have you done with this deck? I've done a lot of playing, so I have a lot of opinions. I'm curious if you've played this yet.
Yeah, a fair amount. I've played mostly against it, I would say, is how I've been playing and experiencing it. I don't know, man. I like the rocks. I think the rocks obviously add a dimension to it, but it's nothing that I don't think the deck was previously already covering. And like, in my opinion, you lose a lot of points by not having eSearch Pro. I'm not a fan of that at all. I don't know how everyone else feels, but it does feel like the eSearch Pro build is still the way I would play it if I were to play Goldango. I'm not going to play Goldango, but if I were going to, then yeah, I'd be doing that. The deck is still what the deck is, right? It's still pretty linear. I mean, this obviously adds a little bit more dimension to it, but yeah, I wasn't too impressed with the Lunatone Solrock build in Goldango, but I know it's going to have a high play rate. I know people are going to play it, so my opinion does not matter in this situation.
Yeah, so I think I agree with you when we get to the tier list meta percentage. Like, I'd actually say that this will probably be the most popular Goldango build. But I think we're both going to go against the grain here. What I've been seeing is like the community opinion. I actually think like normal Goldango is better than Solrock Goldango.
Yeah.
I think to me the big selling point about Goldango is that you're favored into Dragapult and Gardevoir. And I think if you play Solrock, especially if you play Precious Trolley, you actually become like very shaky into those decks. So if you're gonna play Solrock Dengo, my other hot take is like Precious Trolley is like not the way to do it. You go first against Jelly Guardy, you go first against any Badoo deck. It's like the game is over unless you like sack you're like one of Poffin or like one of Trolley. They just Badoo you and you don't set up and play the game. So I've personally been playing Prime Catcher in my Solrock deck. I've been playing Prime Catcher, I've been playing Hops Cramorant. The value to me about playing this type of deck is it makes one prize boards like way better than all the other Dengo decks. So to me, that's the real advantage of playing this. Like, I've never felt when playing Dengo, I'm like, I need more draw. That's never really been something where I've been like, that's what this deck is missing. So like the Solrock for me more is like as an attacker in the deck. Like basically this is like an upgraded Fan Rotom version of playing Dengo. It's kind of how I feel about it. And I think the problem I have with the Solrock build too is your Jelly Guardy matchup is like horrible. Like if the Jelly Guardy player knows what they're doing. Like they can literally just Frillish you like 5 times and you lose the game. Like you can't get through it. You'll run out of energy. And then as soon as you put your Vitality Band down, they go Bravery Charm Frillish, and then they go like Double Monkey Heal. So to me, I don't know, like this the Solrock Lunatone build, like it just has worse matchups into like the 2 best decks, or the best deck in Guardy, which I'm sure we'll say Jelly Guardy is probably the best deck when we do our tier list. So I don't know, I haven't been super impressed. And like I am dogging on the deck a lot right now. Like it's still an insanely good deck. I'm just comparing it to playing normal Dengo, which I still think is just better than playing Solrock in my opinion.
Yep, I agree with you. I think we're both on the same page with that. Like it is a very against the grain kind of opinion because it seems like almost everybody prefers the rocks, but I'm not a rock guy right now.
Yeah. Like I would say one other good thing for Dengo is like that if Grimmsnarl comes back, that's great since like that matchup's like super favored. I don't know why the win rate's only 52% online, but this number should be way higher in my opinion.
People are playing rocks.
Well, even rocks is like pretty good into Grimm, I think. It's slightly worse because like they can Evoltol or Maractus, like your Solrock or your Lunatone, and then buy some time that way. But yeah. And the other thing is the Solrock deck doesn't play Levincia. I think Levincia is like super good in the format. So I think those are the 2 main decks that are going to be using Lunatone and Solrock. I mean, there's stuff like Lucario, which I just can't see seeing play when its 2 worst matchups are Guardian and Golden Go. I haven't really seen it in any other decks, unless I'm forgetting one. Neil, have you seen it in any other decks?
With rocks? No, not really.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Cool. Why don't we jump a little bit to some off meta for new decks? Aneil, have you played the
Sure.
Alakazam deck? What are your thoughts on Alakazam?
uh, if I was for fun, I would totally play this. It's super fun. It's cool. It's new. It's got all the makings of something that you'd want to play. I think it has the same problem as Ledge has. It's just a little bit too linear, at least the game strategy is, and it allows your opponents to kind of play around you a little bit. And the classic shift gear saying there's not a whole lot of agency, but that's kind of how I feel about this one as well. But it is super cool. I would totally play this if I was just chilling. If you're out for fun or you just want to do something with the rogue deck, this is up there for me. I genuinely think this has potential to be a good deck.
Yeah, I agree. I will say that this is like a 1 prize deck, which is like a huge buff over playing a 2 prize deck.
Yeah.
So I think the problems this deck has is it really struggles with the stage 2 decks like Gardevoir, Dragapult, and Grim. Abra having 40 health is just like horrible. Like Double Monkey knocks that out, like Phantom Dive knocks that out. But against like aggressive decks like Golden Ghost, Ledge, Raging Bolt, all that stuff, like I actually think Alakazam just like wipes the floor with them. Because those decks play like 0 or 1 disruption card. So your hand is going to be very large. Like as soon as they play their 1 Iono or Judge or whatever, like you just basically are safe the rest of the game. So I don't think Alakazam is like ready yet to be, or it might not ever be ready to be like a tier 1 deck, just because it struggles so much into Gardevoir and Dragapult. But if you dodge those decks, you can definitely sneak into day 2. So I would not be surprised if like one Alakazam like randomly makes like top 32 or top 64 type of thing, kind of like Conkeldurr was doing the past couple of tournaments.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just like cool though to see like another deck like this that is fun. It's pretty simple. I'm sure like, yeah, if someone wants to pick up the game, like this is another deck, I'd be like, oh, maybe like you play this. So, yeah.
And now, like with the way the game is, there's so many people who play the game who come to these tournaments that you're gonna see decks like this online. Just because of like the sheer volume of the people in the game. Like back in the day when there used to be like 100, 150 people at tournaments, you're kind of like, all right, like I'll just play a good deck and hopefully do well. Now, like as a new player, you kind of can gain an edge on more experienced opponents by playing stuff like this. By like having like those, and I did this for years where like I would just play like bad rogue decks and just like have an edge on people because they didn't know what my deck did or they weren't planning for it in their testing. And I think that is still a very, very viable strategy. Playing stuff like this, and if you hit the right matchups, you still can run through a tournament in a good way. And especially if you're a new player, like you do gain a lot of edge by playing decks like this, because if you are a new player and you're trying to play like some of the skilled decks, it's really tough to compete with like the top 5% of Gardevoir and Dragon Ball players. So I mean, obviously you're going to lose to Gardevoir and Dragon Ball with this anyways, but I guess you gain a lot of points just from that surprise factor and not having to be the very best. So I don't think it's a bad play. I think it perfectly falls into that tier of like half for fun but low key sort of serious. Like it's kind of in that realm.
Yeah, like its win rate online is close to 50%. Like you can see, like anything that's an aggressive deck, it's like really good. Anything that like plays Monkey Dory, it's like nope, you are getting
17% is cruel, bro. That's tough.
Yeah, like tough. The Frostlass plus the Monkey plus the Shadow Bullet. Yeah, like that matchup does.
You're cooked.
Yeah, other new decks like there's Venusaur, which I think unfortunately is just like not ready yet. It's too clunky, I think. So I'm not really expecting that to see a lot of play. I think Gardevoir Jellicent we're seeing now is coming like in line actually with normal Gardevoir in terms of play rate. I don't know if you saw this list, Aneil. That's the latest cookings. Mr. Henry Chow. It won a big online tournament the other night. The Turbo Jelly Guard, where it's like 2/2 Jellicent. It's only 2/1/2 Guardy with 2 Mystery Garden. So I guess my question if I was going to Milwaukee is like, all right, for the people playing Jellicent, how many of them are playing this? And how many people are going to play a more traditional build of with Arvin and TM Evo and maybe a lower Lilies count in the deck?
Yeah, this was something that I like had thought about going to Worlds too. Not the 2/1/2 Gardevoir, but just like the general idea of like how much do you really need Gardevoir when you're a Jellicent deck, right? So this one kind of plays Latias. It plays like you have ways to move around without needing a Gardevoir out. So there's less pressure on getting the Gardevoir out in general when you play Jellicent because you can operate without it. But then the other part of this is now with Lilies, you're kind of able to play this more turbo build because you're able to always shuffle draw 8. You can see like there's 4 Lilies, then 3 Candies, 2 Guardies. You have a lot more chances to draw into your Candy Guardy. On top of that, you now have Mystery Garden, so you have even more like chances to dig and dig and dig to actually get Rare Candy Gardevoir. Whereas like prior, we had only Research, Iono, whatever, And like, sure, you can argue Lily's Determination is just one more card than Research, but it does make a big difference. Like that one extra card can mean everything. So I think there's a lot of merit to this kind of build. Like this was something that I was looking at too for Milwaukee. I was like, what if I just play like this Turbo Gardevoir build that just like maxes Lilies and just tries to work any Guardia every turn? The issues I was finding was if I'm not playing item lock, I can just get item locked out of the game. This one's like really weak to like Badoo and stuff just because you don't play TM Evo. You have no way to really find it. You don't have Arvin to find your TM Evo. So those are like the weaknesses of this. But I think this deck is actually pretty good. I like the build a lot. I like the idea of Latias. That was another thing I was toying with for Worlds. Like Latias plus Air Balloon with Frillish just to ensure you always got the turn 1 Oceanic Gloom. And that's the argument for no TM Evolution because you're always trying to item lock. And I totally get that. I just think that item lock back at you is a little rough to deal with sometimes. But definitely some good innovations from Mr. Chow. I like where we're going with this. I don't know what people are going to play to Milwaukee. I would assume that they would trust this list just because of who built it. But we'll see.
Yeah, it is interesting. Like I agree. Like I think Dusk Bolt becomes a much more difficult matchup, especially with two rolls. Like you're definitely getting board wiped against them. But I mean, like Dusk Bolt has its position in the meta has definitely weakened over the past like couple of months, I think. But like it's still its play rate has like stayed consistent at 15%. And like we'll talk about that deck too. But Lilies feels fantastic in that deck. I don't see that deck going away. So I guess like a build like this though, like you're just trying to target like faster decks in the format to keep up with them. Like against Golden Go, like making sure you always get item lock, keeping against something like a Sacrilege. Yeah, I almost wish like you could play a third role, so like maybe you could find a spot, but it is definitely really cool. Innovation to the deck. I mean, I've also been messing around just with like a more traditional Jellicent list and like one Lilies. It's felt pretty decent as well. So yeah, this will be a lot
of pressure on these two routes here. That's the problem, right? A lot of pressure, and if one's prized, you're in trouble.
You do need one Gardevoir at some point. Like you do need Gardevoir eventually. Like you can't just play the game without it because you need to like use monkeys and stuff. But early item lock is like enough to get through a lot of games. I mean, even against Dragapult, like if you just go Jellicent, knock out their Badoo, it's actually not that easy for them to get another Badoo, and then hopefully you unlock all your items by then. So, yeah, I think Guardia Jelly definitely is probably, as we get into the tier list, like the deck to beat. But definitely very interesting. Yeah, otherwise, like there's nothing too crazy. I mean, like Grimmsnarl has been making a comeback. I've played a lot of this deck. The Lilies has felt really good in this deck. Like there's like some random lists with like Tatsugiri and stuff, but like the Lilies is definitely like a game changer. I think not having to like research stuff away is like massive. That's like something that was always a big pain point for the deck. The new Eviltall I've actually really liked. Like it's not that different from playing Maractus, but like if you're gonna play Blood Moon in your deck, like not having a second bad starter is really good. A lot of things you want to trap are also weak to grass, like for example Lunatone and Solrock. So like not hitting them for weakness has felt really good. Oh, yeah, I've been a fan of Grim. I still think it has the same problems it's always had, where it's like there's no consistency engine, and its Golden Go matchup is still not very good. But that being said, it's like one of the few decks that boasts a good Gardevoir matchup, even if it's only slightly favored. So I think Grim will probably start seeing play again. I don't think it's like a tier 1, like on the same tier as I would put like Golden Go and Guardy and all that, but I think it's definitely back to being like a very solid pick for regionals now.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of crazy to think about how much not having Pheasantipity can hurt a deck. And like there are so many decks that are built structurally the exact same way as this deck, and those decks function so well, and this deck is just a pile of bricks. Yeah, like I've played a lot of this recently. I got back into coaching recently, so I've been coaching a lot of Grimmsnarl, and like it's been really enjoyable to play, but it has the same problems that it's always had, right? It's a little bit too inconsistent. You're gonna lose games to just not having anything, and no matter how good of a player you are, you can't get over a hand of like 2 Morgrims, 2 Frostlass, and an Energy. Like there's nothing you're gonna do with it, right? So I think there's a lot of pressure on the deck to chain supporters turn after turn, which kind of is a downfall of what this is. I think power-wise, it's as good as it's ever been. I think it does a lot of things that are desired out of a deck in this format, but yeah, I have my concerns with its consistency, and like this was a deck that was definitely on my radar for a while. I was thinking like maybe I play something like this, but like look at the build. Like you've 17 supporters in here, 2 of them are bosses. So you're playing 15 supporters, and your deck still sucks like 40% of the time. This is kind of my problem with it. If it didn't have the consistency issues and there was more classic shift gear, more agency, to get yourself out of bad spots, then I think it would be a little bit more of an appetizing option. But I don't see a lot of top players playing this deck.
Yeah,
I mean, we could be wrong, but
I
we'll
mean,
see.
I think Grimstar, one of the nice things is it actually does have a decent amount of agencies at the start of the game where like you can like set things up or like board wipes
Yep.
or like you can do stuff like not trigger feds, but yeah, like half my games I lose, almost actually more than half my games I lose with Grimstar. I was like, I just got Ionoed, and then I was like, okay, well I couldn't push through. I mean, the games where I get Ionoed and I hit like a Lilies or a Research, I'm like, oh sweet, I win. But the games I get Ionoed and I draw like I don't know, like counter catcher and like pop in, I'm like, all right, well now I lose.
Yeah.
It's still extremely strong because like it can run a lot, like it can run Dragapult off the board, you can run Guardia off the board a lot of the time. But like yeah, it's very prone to losing to just like corruption.
Yeah.
But it is definitely way better than it was before. Yeah, I mean, other than that, like there's nothing like pretty much new that I think we really need to talk about. Like Charizard has started playing Psyduck, still expected. Dragapult has basically just traded out the researches for Lilies, as we expected, and that's felt really good. So why don't we jump maybe to our tier list, and we'll start there. One thing I actually do want to do is I want to break the Golden Go by Golden Go Soul Rock and normal Golden Go. I think I have to make a custom one, right?
Crazy.
Soul Rock. Is there a name for this yet? I just call it Lunar Dengo.
That sounds more creative than anything else I've heard.
That might be actually just what people have been calling it. Maybe that's why I got it, but
Lunar Dengo. I just call it rocks, dude. It's
Rocks?
just rocks to
It's
me.
rocks.
Yeah, it's just rocks.
So, yeah, why don't we start then with the Dengo rocks? Where would you put it in the tier list for
I feel like I'm a hater. I've been talking so badly about this deck, but I don't think it's as good as the normal version. That's kind of my opinion. I think it's still a very strong deck. I think just comparatively with the other version of Goldengo, to me, it's one of the lower ones. Again, there are people that play a lot more Goldengo than I, and maybe there's something with this that I'm not seeing. But I'd probably put this in like a high B, low A. Like that kind of be my vote for this.
I actually agree. I would put it there, and then I would put normal Dengo in A tier, like just because you're still good against like the other decks. So if we, I think last regionals Dengo was around 15% if you aggregated its builds. So what split do you think you're gonna give? We'll just say like Togekiss, Scizor, Straight, like those are all in like the normal Golden Go, and then Lunar Dengo. What split would you give?
I still think Lunar Dengo is going to be the most played.
I think so too.
Yeah, so I'd probably give it like a 60-40 to Lunar. I don't know what the percentage is going to be. Probably like maybe a combined like 14-15. Is that fair?
I think 15. Like I was gonna go like maybe like 9 and 6 or maybe 8 and 7. I don't know.
I ride with 9 and 6.
9 and
I think
6,
it's probably
yeah.
close to what the split's going to be.
2-to-1 ratio, yeah. Yeah, I could see that. For
It's
sure.
still a very good deck, man. Like the deck is really good.
Yep.
It's and I don't want that's the thing. That's why I'm being so careful with this. I don't want this message to be misconstrued. Like it is genuinely a good deck, and if this is your kind of deck, it is a fantastic tournament to play Goldengo to. Like Grimmsnarl's popping back out. Your Gardevoir Dragapult matchups are still okay. You can still deal with them, and then obviously there's some tempo matchups you got to deal with, like Ceruledge, but your deck is so evolved at this point that it can almost deal with anything. There's no big new threats that just wipe Goldengo off the map. So I think this deck is still pretty good. My issues with Goldengo always has been, just from a statistics perspective, it's never won a big tournament. It just can't for whatever reason. In the Masters division, I forget who was telling me this. Someone was telling me about how it's just never won, and I went back and I looked at it. I'm like, oh yeah, what the hell?
Well,
Like it feels like this deck's been around.
four majors is like a tier 1 deck, I feel like.
Yeah, but it always just feels like this deck underperforms. I don't know why. It just maybe that's just my interpretation of this.
That's
But
fair.
I've gone into a lot of tournaments thinking Goldengo is the best deck here, and it just does not win the tournament. So whatever that is, whatever that means, might mean nothing.
Yeah,
But
I mean, we've talked about it. Like a lot of the top players have been playing Golden Go lately, and then also like I think like after Worlds, like everyone was like super like hard hating on Dengo, like with like cards in their deck, right? So hopefully with like Dengo, like you're saying, it's like not been like winning tournaments or making deeper runs. Like we've had one in top cut, I think, of almost every regional this year. I think only one it didn't make top cut. So like maybe people will like stop putting like so much focus on beating Dengo and like maybe finally shift to beating Gardevoir, but who knows? It seems like people never do that. So
and there's a lot of like, and obviously there's a lot of like situational things that happen to Goldengo too, right? Like you look at Piper and how if she didn't prize all those gimme goals, she probably wins Worlds, right? So like I understand that, and I think that there are certain decks that are victimized more by circumstance than others, right? Like Gardevoir always kind of has a way to work around bad prizes or bad mapping or whatever. Dragapult's kind of the same way, but then like Goldengo, you prize your gimme goals, what are you doing, right? I just think there's different decks. Different decks react to different sorts of victimizations in different ways in different situations, right? So I think this is probably one of those decks that reacts badly to those, because of like how linear your deck is and how you're kind of just a straight basic stage one, kind of the same issues that Sarah Ledge would have, in my opinion. So I think maybe this is just one of those like victim of circumstance type decks. So I don't want to make it sound like I think the deck is bad. I think the deck is actually very good. Just waiting to see it like break through and actually win a tournament.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to Milwaukee this weekend, I probably actually would have played Golden Go Toadkiss just because I with some like text for Guardy.
Yeah.
So I think it's like so well positioned still. So cool. Okay, let's go. We'll leave Guardy for next. Let's go Dragapult Dusknoir, Aneil. SAB. Where do you think this is?
Probably like a low A.
Yeah, I think that's kind of how I feel too. I mean, it's just Dragapult Dusknoir. Like the deck is just super solid. I do think the Lilies is like a nice buff for this deck. It has felt really, really good whenever I've been playing it. Like not discarding like all my good stuff and then just drawing 8 early game just felt really good.
Yeah, Lily's is a nice buff, but then like Psyduck is a nice nerf, so it's kind of like just balancing out a little bit. I was toying with the idea of playing straight Pult, just because I feel like if you're in a situation where your opponent has a Psyduck, I don't know how many people are going to play Psyduck. I'm sure we'll talk about this at some point. But I feel like if your opponent has a Psyduck, you kind of you're in a bad spot, right, as Dragon Ball Dusknoir, because your deck is inherently a lot more bricky than the normal build. So straight Pult has seemed kind of interesting to me, and I wouldn't be surprised if that deck pops up soon at some point. But I think Dragon Ball Dusknoir, like you said, just strong. It's just Dragon Ball Dusknoir at the end of the day. I think it probably just evens out to be in the exact same spot that it used to be in before.
Yeah, I think like the Lilies also does help the consistency a bit more with the deck. Like it does feel more consistent than before. And we can talk about Psyduck. Like if I look at this list of decks, right, on the bottom here, like the only one that I would say for sure is like playing Psyduck is like Charizard. Like all the other decks, I'm like, would they really put Psyduck in their deck? Like probably not.
Yeah. I don't know. It's one of those cards, right? It feels so bad when you play it and you don't hit anything that it's useful into.
Yeah.
It feels very much like Shaman. And like the problem is right now with so much like retreat lock and stuff in the format running around, like more than I can ever remember. It's really risky to play these cards, right? You started at a bad time and you're cooked and stuff like that. I think the decks that benefit from playing Psyduck the most are obviously those decks that just have one bad issue, and that bad issue is Dusknoir. So it makes total sense to play it in Charizard because you can also Pidgeot for Turtles whenever you need to. But I agree with you, the splashability of it is not as high as you'd like it to be. I think it's definitely more splashable than Shaman just because of its HP, but still, it's not really there yet, in my opinion at least.
Like, I think we should probably just give this like 15%, like where it's always been at. Like I don't really see it deviating too far in one direction from that.
Yeah, I was gonna go a little bit lower, but yeah, 15 works.
All right, sure. Here we'll go 14.
All right, sure.
All right, next up, Guardy. All right, are the two builds in different tiers? And if yes, which one's better? And then what do we think the split is going to be? Because I think at Pittsburgh, like Guardy Jelly had a way lower play rate, but a much better conversion. So I think the play rate is going to start converging a little bit. So I personally think Guardy Jelly is better than just normal Gardevoir. I would go as far as to say I would put Gardevoir Jellicent in the S tier, and then I think I would put Guardy in the A tier. It's kind of how I would go about it.
Okay, I'm not opposed to it. I don't feel like we have an S tier deck right now. That's my only opposition to this. I feel like Gardevoir Jellicent is definitely the better of the two. And like I've tried it a lot. It's not really what I want to play personally. I still play the straight Gardevoir because I enjoy it. I think it has a lot more lines and stuff. But Jellicent as a card, I think, is just being realized now. Like for Worlds, it underperforms, and it underperformed a little bit in September too. But now the way people are building this deck, the way it like item locks and tool locks and everything, all while putting pressure on, it does have like all the makings of an S tier deck. So I agree with you. I think Guardy Jelly is better than regular Gardevoir. I wouldn't be opposed to you putting it in S tier. I just don't believe that there's an S tier deck right now. So we can agree to disagree. Just throw it up there. Right. I think the play rates of both definitely converge more. I'd almost say that I expect more Jelly than regular Guardy now. Maybe like a 7-6 type beat, but we'll see.
Yeah, I was gonna go 8-7 because I think like it was 15% like collectively at like Pittsburgh, so I was like, all right, like maybe it stays there at least.
Yeah,
I just think like we have to just respect Guardy now. I guess like it's finally seeing the play rate. Its conversions were like insane at Pittsburgh. Even like the other two regionals, right? It won the other two. So I think it's just proven S tier. I think it wasn't even that we didn't really discover Jelly. I think a lot of people like we just like didn't realize like how strong Frillish was. Like whenever I played it, there's actually a lot of games I don't even put Jelly into play. I just go Frillish. The reason I personally think Guardy Jelly is better than like normal Guardy is like Guardy Jelly, like the Jellicent line gives you like a better matchup into Dengo, Poltnor, and Guardy, which are like the other 3 like A tier decks.
Yeah.
In exchange, you lose a little bit of consistency and like raw power, but I just think that just having the item lock option, I think, is really good.
It's funny. It's like good players deciding between Gardevoir and Gardevoir Jellicent. It's like the decision too, right? It's like which one am I gonna play? Did you see what LeBron ended up coming out with?
It was just like a Hennessy collab or something.
Bro, it was a Hennessy ad. Come on, man. What the hell, dude?
Well, I mean, I knew that wasn't going to be like his retirement announcement or something. Like
yeah, he would make a bigger deal than that.
No, his ego is like so big that I'm like, he would definitely be making like a big thing show of it. So
we should have had Liam on for a little like excerpt of just what he thought was gonna happen.
Yeah, like I should have got him to call in yesterday and be like, all right, like we should have live reaction, like
yeah. But yeah, like I do think a lot of good players are eyeing up these 2 decks, and like which one you play, I don't know. But I do feel like I wouldn't be comfortable taking a loss to Guardy Jelly this weekend. Like with whatever I played, taking a loss to Guardy Jelly just doesn't seem like a great idea if you want to win the tournament. So that's something I'd probably be countering. How do you counter that? Great question. Who the hell knows?
You play Iron Bundle maybe. In like
yeah, like, but I'd be hesitant to play a deck that loses to it. Is kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, one deck I actually think is like cratered for me in like terms of its like position is like Raging Bolt. I actually think this deck is just like not good right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I don't know if I'm gonna put D tier, but I think it's at least C tier. I think it's just like it has a bad matchup into basically like with Gardevoir running around, especially with the 100 HP Curlius. Dragapult Duskmar is not a good matchup. Dengo is like a super close matchup. So I don't really know why you would play Raging Bolt right now. So I think I would definitely just put in C tier. And I guess the question is, like, do we think, like I think it was 10% at Pittsburgh. So, like, how far do we think it'll fall off in terms of play percentage? Because it has not been doing well lately.
I still have this at like a 6 or 7, dude.
6 or 7?
I don't know. Like, it's Raging Bolt, right? How many times have we said, oh, it's going to die, and it just doesn't?
Yeah, like, like 9, like, had like 10% play rate at Pitt. What was its conversion? Let's see. Oh, it's still not horrible. It's still at 20%, actually.
Pretty good.
I just think he didn't have very high placement. So yeah, maybe we'll give it like still a 7%. We'll respect that Raging Bolt has a lot of strong soldiers.
Oh yeah,
for sure. Cool. All right, Grim is next. I think Grim for me is in the B tier with like Lunar Dango. I don't think it's on the power level of the decks we put in A. I think it's like for me, it's like here.
Yeah, I agree with you. It has the potential to be on the power level with those decks. It's just not, at least for me right now. I think the deck is good. We talked about it. I think the deck is good. When it works, it's great. It's just the consistency issues just plague it like crazy. So, like my opinion of this has changed within the last 7 days. Like I started like a week ago, be like, all right, this has to be the play. Like there's no way this is not the play. I no longer think it's the play just from its consistency problems. I still do think people will play it. I kind of have it around like a Raging Bolt, like 7% kind of area. But yeah, I think it definitely belongs in B.
Yeah, no, I think so for sure. Even I've noticed actually a lot more people I'm teaching lately want to play Grim again. So I'm like, all right, it's trending upwards in play percentage.
Big time.
All right, Charizard. Do you think Charizard with side deck breaks into A tier, or is it still like a B tier type of deck?
I think it's an A tier deck, man.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it's still a little less, still struggles with consistency a bit, but I think it's still definitely very solid. I think like having the Poltnor matchup become very manageable now is like a huge buff to it. And having a good Guardy matchup is like definitely a good thing to have in this format. So
yeah, I don't have a crazy amount to say about Charizard. I think like the deck is still just as strong as it was. It did feel like last format it was a little bit underexplored, like a little bit undertapped in terms of like what the deck could be. I don't think it's going to be like crazy play rate either, though. I think it's probably like a 6 or a 7, kind of like Grimmsnarl. But this format is definitely widening, is what I've learned in the last little while. Like it does feel like there's, instead of having like the top 3 decks and then everything else, it is a little bit more widespread. And I still do think that there's just a lot of decks in A. This is one of those formats where there isn't like a clear S. I know we disagree on that one, but definitely feels like there's a lot more like variety going around.
No, I think I agree too. There's definitely a lot of decks you could play, make day 2, make top cut, and I wouldn't be surprised if the deck made top cut.
Yeah, Guardy Jelly is like a perfect like in between A and S type deck, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like 1.5 if we had. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out AS. Those are some good initials.
AS.
I mess with that. Yeah, I mess with that.
All right. AS here. All right. What about Sarah Ledge? I think it's probably a B tier if I had to pick.
Are we believing in Sarah?
Oh, it's definitely like I think in like it's a good deck. Like it's just so consistent and like just it has the tools to do well. Like if you go fast enough, you can like one shot Jellicent, you can one shot Dragapult. It's like the Briar gives you play into like stuff like Dengo. So I think it's at least a B tier deck. I don't think it's as good as the ones we put in A, but I think for sure I'd put it B tier.
Yeah, I'd have it like mid B. I think there's a good spot for it. I do think people are gonna play it. I think it's gonna be like I know I've said 7 a lot. Maybe like a 5 or a 6 just to be different.
Right,
But
no 6-7, just 5-6.
yeah, no 6-7. We're not doing that. I'm too old for that.
Bro, literally, like I actually felt like such a boomer because like all the kids I teach are like always just talking about 6-7, and like I just for the longest time could not like understand it. They would explain it to me, and I'm like,
Yeah.
So I went on like Know Your Meme, and like I looked it up. I'm like, okay, like I still don't really get it, but well, I get where
Bro,
it
like,
comes from, but I'm like I still don't get it. But
that's the thing. Like, you could be super with it and still not know what that means. It's like I don't know, man. It's a weird phrase, and like there's always been things like that. I remember when we were kids, there always used to be those like stupid sayings that we just take and run and find funny for no reason. But like, dude, it is pretty crazy once you get out of high school how much you miss in terms of like the lingo and stuff. You're a little bit outdated. Feels. I didn't know what that one was either for a while.
yeah, but now we're hip again, Aneil. We're with it. It's the
We're
next
hip.
trend.
Let's go, baby.
All right. How do we feel about Django? I'm like whatever on Django. I think it's fine still. Like it's probably like between B and C for me.
Yeah.
Again, it's a pretty.
I really just hate the deck. I have so much hatred towards that deck. I just don't like it. I think it's a C for
All right,
me.
we'll put a C then. And you'll hate C
Yeah.
tier. I think it's like a 4%er type of thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
It just like combines all the things I hate the most into one deck, and I really just don't like it. I don't know what it is. Like, like every format you'll have like that one like that one deck you really just don't like. For me, for a long time, it was Charizard. I just hated Charizard. Couldn't beat it. Like, I feel that way with Django, man. Screw Django. I'm gonna blast it to the sun.
Nice. Okay, what about Terrabox? Where do we think Terrabox sits? I think it's still very good. Like it's one of the decks where I think you have to be cautious because it's Gardevoir matchup. Like it's not a slam dunk. That's a little shaky. It's for me. It's either high B or it's low A in my opinion. It's kind of where I feel like it's at.
I'd put this in A tier, man. I think this deck like is good. You gain a little bit with Mawile potentially. Like there are some cards here that can maybe help you out. And I always think Terrabox was in a decent-ish spot. And now if Gardevoir is as played as it is, obviously that nerfs Terrabox down a little bit. But you do still boast quite a few good matchups.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, its play rate was only 3.5% at Pittsburgh, so I think it'll probably stay around that. Like I'll just round up to like 4 maybe.
Yeah, it's a high skill deck, right?
Yeah, like the skill floor is definitely very high, as is the ceiling. So
yeah.
All right, and Zoroark. I mean, this one Pittsburgh. I think a couple things got worse for it. I think Sarah becoming a deck is bad for it because Sarah just destroys this. The Grim matchup's like fine. It's pretty close. So I mean, it just won regional, so it feels weird not to put it A. But
I know.
Is it A or is it B?
I think it's a B for me, man.
Yeah, I think it's a B for me too. I think if you get the top tables, I think it's like S because you're just gonna hit Gardevoir every round almost. Like Liam hit 9 on his win. But I think it's definitely like a little shaky into some of the other decks on the list. Like anything that can one shot you. Like
yeah. It does feel kind of like criminal to not have it in A after it won regionals. And like it feels like we're running back into that trap. We're going to underrate it and it's going to destroy us. But I do think it's like a B. I agree with everything you said. I think there's a lot of things going against it now. I still think some players will play it. I got maybe like a 3 on this. Just because I don't think the matchups are as polarizing as they once were. You kind of just take more like mid matchups all over the board. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right, these like next two decks, like Joltik Box and Pulsar, I feel like I'd put them probably like C or like maybe Pulsar's B, but like I just feel like the other versions of their deck is just like stronger than.
Agreed.
I'll just put them here. I mean, Joltik Box has like loyal fan base, so I'll probably give it like 4. Pulsar, I don't even know what people have been playing. I'll give it like 2 because I know people like it maybe. Yeah. And then Flareon, I know this is your deck. Like, do you think there's a reason to play this over Terrabox, or do you think Terrabox is
all right?
better?
Give me, yeah. Give me the floor.
You got the floor.
Yeah. I was telling who's it? I think I was talking to Makani about this. This deck is a fantastic play for the Milwaukee Regional Championships. Okay, and let me explain why. First of all, I'd put it in low A. I mean, you don't have to agree with me. You can put it in B if you want.
I'll just put it in low A. That's fine.
Yeah. I think Flareon has all the tools to deal with everything on this list. What can it not deal with? Okay, Mega Pokemon, big problem. We cannot deal with Mega Pokemon.
But who's playing Mega
There's-
Pokemon, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No one's playing it. We don't think. But if people play Mega Pokemon, you can't deal with that. The jank of the format is really tough to deal with for Flareon. You lose a few points into the Rocks decks because the Rocks decks are really good at trading one prizes with you. That being said, Burning Charge still does one shot at Soul Rocks. You're still okay. You have one card in Leafeon that solves you two matchups by itself. Just being able to recycle that. And we've seen that in Terra Box a little bit. People playing like 1/1/1 Leafeon Flareon EV lines. It's been kind of strange. The problem is you lose pretty badly to Item Lock. Item Lock is a problem for this deck. There's not a whole lot you can do about it. But if you dodge Item Lock, you're eating the Goldengos, you're doing good into Grimmsnarl, you're doing good into Charizard. I would argue you have a pretty good matchup into Gardevoir if you play Gravity Mountain and Kieran. But I don't know. I don't think that many people are going to play it. I give it maybe a 4. But I honestly, like, if I wasn't so set on like playing, I don't know, something with a little bit more agency, SHIFTGEAR, I would probably play Flareon. And Flareon, yes, very skilled deck, but you lose to bricks. That's kind of what I mean by that. I think you brick a little bit more than the average deck. So I put this way up there. If I wasn't testing other decks this entire time, I definitely would have been playing Flareon. And I think the Flareon Pidgeot is very, very good. The Pidgeot helps you out a lot, and Lily's definitely helps you a little bit too.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, I ranted there a lot.
No, that's good. No, you're the expert.
I'm very passionate about my Flareon, man.
I know you briefly mentioned Straight Pull too as well. I think Straight Pull for me is like in the B tier, just 'cause I think its Guardian matchup is just like so hard to overcome. Like you have to try and cheese it with like Sudowoodo and stuff. So I don't know. For me, I think it's down here, probably in that 2-3% range. I'll put 2%.
Yeah, the result of my like brainstorming with this deck was that you just don't have enough to beat Gardevoir typically. Yeah. I agree with you. Like I don't test that often. I more so just like brainstorm and stuff. And I was just trying to like brainstorm like stuff with Dragapult, and I just couldn't find it. Like I couldn't find that thing that lets you beat Gardevoir. And like the retreat lock is cool, whatever. Like it might buy you some time, but I don't think it's a good enough strategy to really get through Gardevoir.
Yeah, I think I agree. All right, we can rapid fire through these last 4 I have here too. We have Conkeldurr, which I think same thing. I think it struggles with Guardy, so it's kind of hard for me to put this higher. But like it beats a lot of the other decks. It's not that good against Boltnoir, but I mean you could play Psyduck now. Actually, this is actually another deck that could play Psyduck. It's probably B or C tier. Yeah, I'll put high C tier. We'll give it. Like
I think I would give it the benefit of a doubt if it was a more like meta deck. You put it in B, but just because of how underexplored it is, I think it stays in C.
All right. Alakazam, I think, is with the Conkeldurr, like literally for the exact same reasons. Like Guardy is tough.
Yep.
I'll give it also 2% though. Okay, we're actually gonna hit 100%. We never do this with the meta.
We literally never do this.
Yeah.
This is great.
All right, Garchomp.
We might go over 100% now.
I still think Garchomp's like not that good because like I think like the Power Pro or whatever it's called, like it's kind of nice for the deck, but it still hasn't solved the consistency. It still hasn't solved like energy acceleration. Like, cause I don't think Garchomp's issue was like one-shotting stuff. I think Garchomp's issue is like consistency. Like, I still think it's like a C tier deck. I still don't think it's like that good, but I think it might go up and play a little bit just because of the new Power Pro. So.
I'm gonna mildly disagree with you on this one. I think the one thing that did plague Garchomp in the past is its power level, just the sheer number of number you're doing with your attacks. And I do think the Powerade thing does help it quite a bit. I agree with you though in saying that I don't think it's above a C tier deck. Like it's just kind of still that deck. It's funny because when this card came out, the like rocks and stuff, that was where my mind went first. And I was like, okay, I'm playing this for Milwaukee no matter what. And then I went through it a bit more in my brain, and I agreed with you. Like, it doesn't solve all of its problems. Gabite does a lot. You can play the Forest of Giant Plants thing to bring into Roserade whenever you want to as well, or you just play the Powerade bottles. I still don't think there's a lot that most decks can do about a 400 HP Garchomp. I said this at NAIC as well. Like, that's kind of how I won my games. Like, I'm just like, this has 400 health. Do something about it. The reason why I wouldn't put it higher is just because I think you still have some squishy guys on the bench that can go around, especially if you're playing the rocks for whatever reason, or you got like the dead Powerade cards in your hand that are adding to the jank of the deck. So definitely something to consider. I think definitely something to look out for. Would I play this to Milwaukee? Probably not, just on the basis of like you want the format to be a little bit more solved before you commit to something like this. And like I think there's a lot of room for deck building with that deck too. It's definitely something that I'm going to like passively look into because I think it does have the potential to skyrocket past C, but I don't think it's there yet.
All right, I'll just keep doing what I do and give it a 2%.
Yes, that was a long-winded answer for a 2.
Yes. No, I think that's fair, like all the points you made. It has some upside, but all right. Last one, Mega Venusaur. I'll throw in C tier with all the rest of the Jang.
Sure.
We'll also give it 2%. So we're at 102% meta predictions here, Deal.
Nice. We've never done this in the history.
We've never done this in the history. So some of these will obviously be deflated from what we guessed, and like there's also random stuff that people play at regionals. But yeah, I mean, I think we're looking at a very diverse format. I'm still a bit worried that we're gonna see like 4 Gardevoirs in top cut this weekend. That's honestly like the most likely outcome. Actually, no. If I ask you now, over under, I'll do the line at 2.5 Gardevoirs in top cut. Are you taking the over or the under?
I'm probably still taking the under.
The under, okay.
Yeah, I've seen this. Like, I mean, we've seen this happen a lot where like a deck is really, really hyped and it just doesn't convert. I don't think Gardevoir is going to be that deck. I don't think it's not going to convert. I just think that more than 3 in top 8, 3 or above, it kind of sounds like a lot.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm gonna just go with a solid like 2. I think if I were to like predict the meta for this weekend and what will do well, I think we're gonna have one surprise deck, like something that is on this list but maybe low. And we're gonna have a couple Gardevoirs for sure. We're gonna have a couple Dragapults just because the deck is still strong. I foresee a Charizard sneaking in, and I foresee a Dengo or 2 in that equation. I just think the format, like, I mean, look at this board. The format's so wide, right?
Yeah.
So it like almost favors those decks that have good widespread matchups. So like your Gardevoirs, your Dragapult, stuff like that. But there's also a lot of potential for these like lower C tier decks to just go off.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I wouldn't be that surprised if anything we put in like B tier, maybe one of C tier decks. They hit really good matchups, like Sneak into Cut. Alakazam winning Milwaukee Regionals.
That would be sick. That would be sick.
But yeah, I think this is kind of where we've landed for this weekend. Like I said, if I was going, I would probably be playing Golden Go Togekiss or Jellicent, I think would be my 2 picks. I'm not, so Neil, you have to win the tournament for us.
I got you, bro.
So.
I got you.
Nice.
We will, yeah, like, I think both your picks would have been really good for this weekend. Goldengo or Gardevoir Jellicent, they both seem pretty good. As for Milwaukee, Wisconsin, all y'all going out there, have fun. I will be out there too, but a lot of stuff to do. Really good like party go out area around the college there. I don't think the Brewers are at home. That was something I did check really early. They are at home. Sorry, on the Saturday if it goes to Game 5. So that could be a very expensive outing in case you bubble out or you just flame out of day 1. So I think it's going to be a day game. Other than that, I think the Bucks have a preseason game on the Sunday against the Bulls. So
yeah, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, but you can see some cool stuff. I think it's in Chicago too, so a lot of people fly into Chicago. So to go to United Center, check that out. Other than that, no real shift gear recommendations for Milwaukee. Just go out, have some good food, cheer for the Green Bay Packers. You know, all the good stuff in life.
Nice, sounds good. Yeah, I don't think I have anything crazy to plug. Oh, new episode of Sibling in the Shuffle will be coming out this week.
Okay.
My
friend we got in our calendars.
Yeah. What else? I updated my Dengo guide. Oh, also have to give out a shout out to Neil. I sent you that text of like one of my students who played the Eternatus in his deck for Josiah, and like he was super hyped that because he had the idea apparently before you did it, and he's like his dad was like being like no, like Eternatus is not good. Then Neil played Eternatus.
The Enamorous.
Yeah, the Enamorous. Or what did I say? Eternatus? Yeah, Enamorous. So I said I'd give him a shout out. So. Shout out for
shout out to him for real for believing in the technology. I obviously didn't come up with it. There were some guys in Europe who did it. I just found it. I just piggybacked it. But yeah, no, it is strong. And hey, to be honest, man, I wouldn't discount that card for this weekend either. I don't think it has the same luster that it used to have. You don't have that surprise factor anymore, but still think it's a good card, especially if Goldengo gets good. So y'all keep an eye out for some Eternatus. I am cooking up some nonsense for this weekend. I got some crazy stuff in my bag. Whether I play it or not, we'll see. But I got something really, really cool. So hopefully I'll get the guts to play it, and we'll have a good Shift Gear episode next week. All
right, you love to hear it. Cool. All right, I think that's everything we have then, Neil. Best of luck to everyone playing in both the regionals this weekend. Hopefully Neil wins, or if Neil doesn't win, something cool happens and we can
hopefully one of you guys wins.
Yeah, hopefully a listener wins, then you can come on Shift Gear and talk to us.
For sure. Well, if you guys see me out there, I guess because Kieran's not going, come say hi. We love that stuff. Definitely want to meet all y'all. Appreciate you for listening. I know we were very unserious last week. We didn't release a video, and someone commented this morning on one of the old videos. I have the notifications on my phone. They're like, yo, y'all are so unserious or something. So Shout out that guy for keeping us accountable. We are unserious, but it was nice to bring an episode to y'all today. Good luck. Have fun in Milwaukee. Comment down below if our meta analysis is correct. Maybe there's some sleeper picks you expect to win the tournament. Let us know down below how you feel about that. And either way, we will see you next week with another episode. Thank you.
Later.
Peace.